So I want to speak today few practical advices how to deal with the coronavirus. So first of all, I want to split that to three parts, which is the way that I'm treating generally life, which is the physical level, the emotional level, and the spiritual level. Okay? So starting in the basic, in the physical. The physical, really, I'm not needed there so much. There's like all the advices of the doctors, health department, and this and that. And the truth of the matter, as far as I understood, I looked inside. They don't really have much to say how to protect. Just they say wash your hands with soap and cover your cough with your sleep. So that's okay. If somebody really feels that that's what will help him, good for him. Baruch Hashem. Anyhow, really my work starts in the next level, which is the emotional level, and more in the spiritual level. So the emotional level, there's definitely a lot to work on. So when we get to those situations in humanity, in the society, so it rises up all kinds of instincts that are like very, very animalistic, which is normal. This is like the survival instinct of to push away and to remove any danger, any threat, and like basically everything in life, there is the positive and negative sides of it. So I want to first make a distinction between positive fear and negative fear. So the positive fear is fear that pushes someone that is not active to make an act, to do something, right? Someone that is not, he doesn't have the strength to get up and do something, and because of fear pushes him to do that. So that's fine. That's a positive fear that is generating things to move. That's good. And the negative fear is fear that is paralyzing, that the person is overwhelmed from something. So we're talking about the coronavirus threat. So he's overwhelmed with the threat and he's paralyzed. He's not able to do anything. So that's negative, right? So when we are looking on ourselves on what is our responses, and we want to refine them, that it will be positive, that it will be productive, that it will bring us to, first of all, to survive, and also to be more humans and less animals. So we have to know this difference within ourselves to recognize what kind of fears are the fears that are active within us, and to put down the negative fear and to leave place for the positive fear. Okay? That's general in life and also specifically to that case. So, for example, a result of that, today when I took my kids to the preschool in the old city, so there was at least a couple of groups from the Far East that came in the other direction. So the person that I was with, he also took his kids to the preschool in the same time. So his reaction was like telling his kids, like, go away from them, they are dangerous, they are sick, and something like that. And I don't know, like, if they understand the Hebrew, probably not, but they understand the meaning of what he's saying because of the way he's saying it and the hands movements, and I'm sure that they doesn't really give them a positive feeling, obviously. And in a certain way, there was in the old times with the Black Plague. So there was few places in Europe that they were blaming the Jews as in a conspiracy that they caused it. Because why? Because the Jews didn't get sick so much, because the Jews like they're washing the hands, so they are more clean, and also Baruch Hashem we have spiritual protection. We are going in the way of Hashem, so we have the physical protection, we have the spiritual protection, so we are more protected, right? And then, but the result of that was very negative. That it rises up the anti-Semitism. So when I was there in that situation in the morning, I felt I associate with their feelings of how probably they feel in those situations, which is very, very sad. So let's go back to what I said before. The positive fear that is giving us some positive things of to do or not to do. So okay, so I won't go there and hug them and kiss them. Maybe that's okay, because I wouldn't do it with tourists that I don't know anyhow, probably. But unless there's some special need of someone that is under breakdown or something, whatever, right? But but we instead of like in our heart, instead of blaming them, obviously it's not something that they like anyone would choose. If somebody is sick, obviously is not choosing to be sick. Everybody would prefer to be healthy and strong, right? So if God forbid somebody is sick, so we want to pray for him to be healthy, not to blame him for being sick. That is something that he didn't do anything about it, right? So that's something that is like fine-tuning within our heart. When we are in situations, so how do we relate to that situation? What is the emotion that rises up, and how do you deal with it? And that's something that is very, very important, and that's a very good opportunity for us to look into that and to know ourselves. Who am I? What is the way that I'm relating to different situations like that? And obviously, I believe that everybody wants to be better human beings. So how can I use this situation to be a better human being? And this is a very, very big question for all situations in life. And whenever there is like extreme situations, something like that, and God forbid not to be more extreme, but something in that direction, so it generates a lot of work with those emotions. So once again, when there is a lot of emotional material that rises up, that is from the subconscious into the conscious, and then people that they're not accustomed to have such an amount of material to work on, so they become to be overwhelmed. They don't know what to do with it. It's too much. Can't deal with it. Okay, so then there's advices for that. That's advices for that, and Bezrat Hashem I'm planning to speak about it, but I can't do it all at once. So we take it bit by bit. Maybe that will be the last point for today. So when there is a big problem that can't deal with it, what's the way to deal with it? Chop it up to small problems, and take care of it bit by bit, right? So how do you break down a big iceberg like that? It's not easy. It's quite a challenge, right? But the first point that is needed is the consciousness. To be conscious of the situation, to be conscious of what is those emotions that I'm dealing with. What do I have within myself that is challenging me now? And then when you have that clear, Shalom Aleichem. When you have that clear, so then you can try to make a certain division of what I said before, the starting point, the positive and the negative. Also about fear, also about other emotions, right? So there is emotions that we know that there are negative emotions, right? For example, anger. Anger is a negative emotion. There's no positive side of anger. There is, but about other emotions that we can discuss later on. There is many of them. There is positive and negative sides, and we have to use our understanding to make the differentiation. And that's what the words of Chazal. And that Avdala Minayin. When somebody doesn't have the consciousness, when somebody doesn't have the understanding, so he cannot make a separation. To separate between the good and the not good, so it starts with consciousness. And that's also the reason that I chose to start the introduction of the Siddur Zichron David with this question of what is consciousness. Because for me, that's the beginning of everything. Whenever we need to deal with something within ourselves, something that is our inner being, so the first point is to be conscious. And then everything slows down, everything have its place with the help of Hashem, and slowly we can take layer by layer and to see what is the positive sides and to put them aside, to keep them, and the negative side, and to let go of them and let them disappear with the help of Hashem. And B'ezrat Hashem, we will discuss more about those different subject matters and go deeper into them. And I'm planning, with the help of Hashem Bli Neder, maybe tomorrow, maybe next day, to go into some, like, also not only the emotional level, also the spiritual level, and then to speak about spiritual protection, how to create spiritual protection that is very needed generally, and specifically when we're dealing with something like that. It's brought down in many places in the Torah that plague is significant. Whenever something is called a plague, it has an application. It has a certain status. It has a certain place in the Torah. How do you relate to a situation like that? What do you do in situations like that? So what I spoke before, which is like the basic remedy, that is like the first line and the bottom line, is the Pitom Aktoret, as we said before. But also there is all kinds of other things. It's not only that. So B'ezrat Hashem, we will discuss it in the next class. Thank you very much. B'ezrat Hashem, blessings and health in all the dimensions for everybody. Amen v'amen.
Amen.